Hello and welcome. Thanks for joining us at WYCC.org for In the Loop, the Aftershow. Our guests, Republican strategist Lenny McAllister, Chicago Sun-Times political reporter Natasha Korecki, and Andy Shaw, president and CEO of the Better Government Association. Welcome to you all. We talked a bit on the air about the Democratic lineup for the gubernatorial race. Let's talk about the Republicans. So far, State Treasurer Dan Rutherford has put his hat in the ring. So has venture capitalist Bruce Rauner. We may hear from Bill Brady, Kirk Dillard.
Even Dan Proft. Actually, Bill Brady and Kirk Dillard both told me at an event I attended this week that they were running. Now, no official announcement, but it sounds like they're in. Dan Proft, the radio host who ran in 2010, is talking about running again. So the field could look a lot like the last one with the addition of Rauner and Rutherford.
Lenny, you're a Republican consultant. What's your take on that?
It's a very interesting time because we just replaced the GOP state chair. So you have that going on. You have a moderate Republican, a venture capitalist, very successful businessman, as well as, in many ways, old school Republicans all running for this position. But it's not only just that, it's this opportunity of change. So you have this failure of the Democrats downstate in Springfield, where the bottom line is, if there's one thing that the Republicans have won out of this pension reform thing, is the fact that you can't blame anything on them right now. But what do you do with this opportunity politically? Do you show the people of Illinois an opportunity to lead statewide once again? Do you modify your message just enough to make sense to enough people in Chicago and other places to win in 2014? Or do you do status quo and stay in the political wilderness that you find yourselves in over the last decade or so? I'm hoping that we're able to come with just a moderate enough message to be able to win voters and finally turn the state around.
Now, the Republicans haven't had control of the governor's mansion in 12 years. Might they have a better shot this year, Natasha? Handicap the race for us.
Well, I think that's the best thing going for them, right? I mean, they can talk about, look, Democrat control, that's gotten us nowhere except in a financial mess and complete dysfunction. We need some more balance of power. So that's the best thing going for them. You talk about, social moderation. I think that's what Rauner is trying to present himself as. He has obviously very deep pockets. He has the business community lined up behind him.
He's also taken a very hard anti-union message very early. Is that dangerous in Illinois?
You know, it can be. You look at Rahm Emanuel. He's had quite the fight on his hands. He did win handily, but he's certainly dealing with a lot of messes there. I think what's really interesting about Rauner is this strategy now to not reveal his same-sex marriage stance. He is straight out saying, it's what I think is irrelevant. I'm not going to say what I believe on that issue. He knows that it's a tempest in a teapot, one way or another.
But by way of full disclosure, let me say that Bruce Rauner has been a significant contributor to the Better Government Association in past years. He can't be anymore because he's now a candidate. He follows in the tradition of wealthy candidates, none of whom have fared well in Illinois up to now. If you think about Blair Hull and Jack Ryan and Ron Gidwitz, all multimillionaires who crashed and burned in one form or another. What Rauner does bring to the race now, and this is putting on my old political reporter's hat, he brings an energy and an aggressiveness that those other business folks probably lack to some extent. Bruce is a fearless venture capitalist, and if nothing else, he will rock the boat, and as you pointed out, he starts by rocking the union boat. I think his calculation is that to win the hearts and minds of the Republican right, and a lot of voters in Illinois, you take on unions, which an increasing number of people perceive to be a big part of the problem in solving governmental crises. And I think that's an increasing feeling, even though there's lots of union folks in Illinois. And Bruce thinks if you tap into that anger and that resentment, you're going to have a good start, and his ads are already on the air. I think he'll be formidable, but can he get to the finish line? We'll see.
He's also done consulting work and is friendly with Mayor Emanuel. I'm wondering if that could work against him.
Well, he's got several things that can work against him. He apparently clouded a kid into a magnet school, which some people could object to.
It's a verb only in Chicago.
Actually, I don't even know if it's a verb. It's probably just, it's a way of life, of course, the Chicago way. And the other thing, of course, is that he's made a lot of money by investing pension dollars for teachers' unions. And so it's a bit disingenuous in some people's minds to trash the unions on one hand while you collect money from investing their pension dollars on the other. That could be labeled hypocrisy, and I'm certain will be in other people's ads.
Lenny, last word very quickly.
But it goes also back to the activist. If the activists believe that you're going to come in and break the mold just enough to take it in a new direction, they're willing to take that chance. And right now, by taking on the unions, he's able to ratchet up his name ID pretty quickly within those conservative grassroots that come out in the primary that's been driving the Tea Party and other elements that led to the changes and the surprise wins that we saw in 2010. So he's banking on that as well.
And he has that clever ad on the air where it starts upside down. The first half of the ad, he is upside down, and so is the writing is upside down. The argument is that the state is upside down, and then the ad flips and it's right side up. I think a lot of people will notice that. That's one of those seminal ads that has the potential to move a needle.
It's going to be an incredibly interesting and, dare I say, fun campaign to watch unfold in the next few months. Thank you so much, Andy Shaw, Lenny McAllister, Natasha Korecki. We appreciate you being here tonight, and have a good evening.